Hey, so you're thinking about moving to London, Ontario, from outside of the province into Ontario, or from another country here to Canada and to Ontario? Well, stick around because today I'm going to be talking about 5 questions that people have when they are looking at moving to a different province or to a different country here to Canada. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. You're looking for a place to know everything there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, and yes, the bad about moving to London, Ontario. Well, stick around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the current market here in London. My name is Daniel Parker Smith, and I get calls and emails every day from people just like you who are looking to move in and around the London area. Doesn't matter if you're moving in 3 weeks or 3 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. My team and I would be happy to get you started on making a smooth relocation here to the London area. Well, as we talked about earlier, we are going to address 5 questions that people have and they should be looking at before they make such a big move, either to the province of Ontario or from another country here into Canada and Ontario. So I'd love to preface this conversation by reminding people, if you haven't watched my other videos and how I share about in 2008, I moved after a whole lifetime of living in British Columbia. I was almost 40 years old and I'd never lived anywhere else but British Columbia, and I moved here to Ontario where I only knew a few family members of my father's and my soon-to-be husband. And so it was really challenging for me, and there was so much for me to learn, and there was so much for me to adapt to, and it was just really stressful. And I think that's one thing that I love to do in helping people relocate, is to help them break down the stressors that might impact them when they come here and help them be better prepared for what it looks like and what their journey will consist of. So let's get started. Number 1 question that we have is residency requirements. So really geared towards people who are moving from a different country here into Ontario and to Canada. Understanding what the residency requirements look like for you, what visas you need, if you need to have any special arrangements made for when you're going to school or working. Do you need sponsorship? These are questions that you need to either ask an immigration lawyer or of your student body, your school council that will help you, guide you through making some of these decisions and putting everything in order before you come. Number 2, if you haven't decided already what city you want to live in when you come to Ontario, make sure that you research those cities. One way you can do that is by looking at all of the videos here on this channel, because we are geared towards helping you find the right location in southwestern Ontario and the right neighborhood, so that when you move here, you can feel at home as possible. Some of the questions you're going to want to ask when you're moving to the city are, what is available? What are the schools like if you have children? If you're taking post-secondary education, well, what school do you want to go to, and what are the requirements for you to apply to that school? What is the housing like there? I think that's probably one of the biggest things that you want to know. What is the housing like? Will you be leasing a property because you're an international student, or will you be purchasing one while you're here? Because there are benefits on both ends, and it's something you do need to look into. It's not always beneficial for somebody to be renting a student home when they're going to be here for an indefinite amount of time, and it may be in their best interest to actually purchase a home and live in that home and not just lease it. The second thing is, if you are working or you are going to school, what is the location that you need to be in, and what is the best neighborhood for you within that general area? Now, you can once again look at some of the videos that we have on this channel that will help you break down the city in London and help you decide where you might want to live when you move here. You also want to understand, if you need public transportation, will you have that available to you within the city, and what does that look like for you if you need to get to certain places? What kind of connections you might have? How long would it take you if you were going to be going from one side of the city to the other? These are questions that are very important for you to answer before you move here. This is a nice segue into number 3, which is housing. Now, housing, we talked a little bit about that. Will you be renting or will you be buying? Is it better for you to buy even if you're a student, or is it better for you to lease? So many people want to just lease till they kind of find out where they want to live within the city. Now, as much as that does have some benefits, right now our housing market is so aggressive that sometimes it is hard, because you might literally be priced out of the market by the time it comes for you to purchase a home. And leasing a property for any decent amount of time is going to lock you into 12 months of a lease. And that might be not too long for you if you were going to be purchasing as soon as you landed here. The other thing is, what kind of housing do you need? Do you need to be near schools for your children so that they can walk, or are there buses that would be available to take them? Do they have French immersion? Do they need, are you in the Catholic school system? What is it that you want to have in regards to your children and where they're going to school? The other thing is, are there parks nearby? Is there shopping nearby? Is it accessible to the airport if you are going to be traveling international? Or will you be needing to access the 402 and the 401 highways maybe to get to the United States, or get over to Toronto area or Hamilton area? You do need to want to have these questions answered, because there are some parts of our city that are not accessible by some of to all of those places easy enough for you. They might take you a little longer, and in times of heavy traffic, it might even impact you more, where you could be in the car for an hour or more before you even get to that commuting location, whether it be the airport or the 401 highway. The one thing that people always ask too is, if you are going to buy before you get here and you are international, or you're from across the country, say in British Columbia or Alberta, or say you're out in Prince Edward Island and you can't come here, can you buy a home sight unseen? Yes, you can. Today we have so many tools that will help you through that. We have virtual tours, we have 3D tours that is pretty much the standard, and also that comes with the complete measurements and a layout of the home, so you can see the plan as it sits. And then all of the different videos that help you see the layout, the materials in the home. No, it doesn't give you that absolute stand in the home feel, but it gets you as close as you possibly can. The other thing that I always give to my clients is virtual tours one-on-one through FaceTime, Zoom, Facebook, Messenger, any of those video mediums that you might be using for your own use, and help you walk through a property and tour the property in real time with me, asking questions, seeing things closely, so that you can actually get a better sense of it. And what does that look like for buying a home? Well, those are questions that you and I are going to want to talk about together should we get to that point, but you would want to make sure that you knew exactly what you were looking at and the neighborhood around. Having me tour you around the neighborhood with my phone in my car to help you understand what's close, what it looks like, and then doing your research on sites like areavibes.com, the London city website, and different places like that will help you understand our city more and if it's a good fit for you. You will also want to know, if you're buying internationally, what your budget looks like, and speak to a mortgage professional who specializes in international buyers, because there are different requirements for international buyers than there are for Canadian residents. So this is something that you are going to want to make sure that you understand prior to coming here and prior to purchasing. Now, the one thing you do want to know is, what is your budget? Because in our market today, currently we sit at a seller's market. So if you have your specific budget, which most people do, ends at a certain price point, say your price point ends at $1.2 million, you are not going to look at $1.2 million homes. You're going to look at homes several $100,000 less than that. And more than likely, you will have to bid up on that price and pay more than the asking price, just because that's the way our market works right now. We have more buyers than we have sellers, and that means that you need to be in a competitive position to make sure that you can be successful on an offer for your home. Number 4, neighborhoods. What do the neighborhoods look like? What does the feel in them? What kind of people live in these neighborhoods? What's around it for me? Can I walk to a cafe or a bakery? Can I walk to a restaurant? Can I walk to a grocery store? Can I walk to a park? I want to access downtown quite easily. I need to live in downtown. I need a condo, and what does that look like? What kind of neighborhoods are good for me living in a condominium? These are all questions you want to have answered. Now, there's several ways that you can do that. We can talk one-on-one, and I can break down some of these places for you. And the other thing is to make sure that you go back and to watch all the videos that we have as I break down each and every neighborhood here in the London area, and more come out every week. So make sure that you are following that and you're doing your research as best as possible, and send me any of your questions, because I'm more than happy to sit down with you and speak with you. And if you give me a call or set up a Zoom call, guess what? You're going to be talking to me, because I'm the one and the face of this team that actually can walk you through some of these pieces. Number 5, what happens when you arrive here? So this is a question that you need to know what it will look like so you're not totally taken off guard. Do you need to arrange for a car rental when you get here? Do you need someone to meet you at the airport? Will you be flying into Toronto or Detroit and taking a commuter into the city? These are all things that you need to know. Will there be somebody from the school, or maybe your new work that's coming, or maybe it's me that's going to meet you at the airport? These are all questions that you're going to want to know. And maybe you won't be getting into your home right away. And so where will you stay, and what's the best place for you? Because I have options for you that actually have discounts that we can use for you to help you with your budget when you're moving here, because there is so many different things that you need to know before you actually put out all this money from your own pocket. A couple other things that you're going to want to know is if you're bringing a car from another province or another country, what does that look like for you in getting it licensed here? You're going to want to research Service Ontario. I will put some of these links in the description below so you know where to go, so you can answer some of these questions for yourself. What does it look like when you're transferring insurance and registration into Ontario? What does that look like for you for your own driver's license? And what kind of proof do you need that you're a good driver or that you have driving experience? These are all questions that you need to be prepared to answer when you get here. The other piece is Canada has universal health care, and you're not just going to walk into the country and be able to participate and partake in that universal health care. There are some restrictions or some requirements that you need to have met before you actually get your healthcare card from the Ontario government, which is Ontario OHIP, they call it. And so those are things that you want to be prepared to do when you move here. What kind of documents that you need to have together to prove for you, your children, anybody in your home, and to answer proper questions. The one other thing that you're going to need to know is what is your credit score for either leasing a home or purchasing a home. So you're going to want to make sure that you have spoken with your bank, your financial institutions, and whatever your country has for you, you will want to make sure that you have proof of that. Now, your credit score is what they call your history of your payments and your ability to make your payments and your debt to income ratio. And this will help us understand how much money you can borrow if you were to purchase a home, and what a risk you are, a good risk you are if you're leasing a home, for a landlord to understand that you're going to be a good person to put in his home that they are leasing out. Now, we have a bonus one for you, meeting new people. Number 6, how are you going to meet people, and what does that look like? It's always scary when you move to a new city. I relocated here from British Columbia, and sometimes it felt like I was in a completely different country, even though I was in the same country, just in a different province. So there was many different things. People just were different. The way that they approached things were different. The way that regulations seemed sometimes old school, and then other times they seemed more forward thinking to me. And there was a lot of confusion that came with all of that, and it made you miss your old home, or frustrations that might have come up because you just couldn't do what you were used to doing. So there's a couple things that you want to know in regards to meeting new people. If you're at work, well, that's not a nice place to do it. Also, many neighborhoods nowadays have online sites that you can join, and you can become part of those, introduce yourself, find like-minded people who do like-minded things. Maybe you like to go hiking, maybe you like to play hockey, maybe you like to go play soccer or football. These are things that you can do to help meet new people, or maybe it's at your place of worship. So many people, when they come and they join and they become part of a place of worship or a club, then they actually get to meet people that already are like-minded with them. And then, of course, there's your neighbors. London has very, very friendly neighborhoods where people tend to get together in their backyards. They have picnics together, like barbecues, celebrate different times together. And so you will find yourself meeting people very quickly and making yourself at home in no time at all. I hope this video has been informative for you today. If you found it that way, please make sure that you click the like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure that you click the bell icon so you'll be notified of any new videos that we release. And please, if you have questions or you are moving here, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or better yet, go down in the description below and click the link to schedule a Zoom call with me today. It brings you straight to me. And if you decide as well that you are not moving to London, but you are moving to another city, guess what? I have a great network of realtors all over North America and some internationally that I can help hook you up with so that you won't feel so lost when you get there. My name's Danny Parker-Smith, and it has been my utmost pleasure to bring all of this information to you and serve you in all of your real estate needs. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next video.